Box? Is it having any impact on that?
Well, you know, one of the things that has our program, the BBF program, not where we want to be fully, is the fact that we don't have a field to play senior baseball. 8 years ago, thereabouts, the Andre Rogers Baseball Stadium was demolished in the middle of our season because of the commitment of the government to the Chinese for the track facility. That was very detrimental to us for senior baseball in Nassau, and today we still haven't been replaced with that facility. So we hold the government responsible for that. You could not or should not demolish a national stadium or facility and not put a temporary one in place.
Some type of replacement.
To facilitate that until such time as the new national facility has been built. I can attest though that I know that was not the wish of the former Prime Minister then, who is now, because this was happened during the PLP reign, and now they're back in power. And I do know that Right Honorable Perry Christie, he made it clear that he wanted a temporary facility in place for baseball until such time as the new one was built. But that never happened. And so we have seen 8 years of collegiate baseball players come back from school with nowhere to play senior baseball. We made a gallant effort to work with the Pinewood facility, and that happened for a very short time. That is a monster of a facility to maintain, because first of all, it's still a community facility. Even it's not a government facility, and so you cannot tell the persons in the community they cannot utilize the fields. We built a diamond there. Then when we looked, we saw softball guys out there digging up the diamond. They knocked down the poles. They steal the fencing. You know, it just became a nightmare to manage. And because it's a community facility, we just couldn't continue along that road. But the government must build back those facilities for us to continue to show continuous progress in the senior level.
So what have you been doing in the meantime? I mean,
well, we have just recently started a senior summer program at JBLN. We've been advocating from the government to get some of the poles that they are taking out from the airport to put some lighting on the facility at JBLN, which we have permission, so we could begin to play some senior baseball until such time as the new facility has been put in place. Now I know from what we were told that this is a high agenda item for this new government to build a baseball complex back in short order. But even that is at least a year away, at least. You know, they may begin something within that time, but I'm talking completion time. You know, we're still a ways away. But they've done a great disservice to our young men at the senior level for the actions that were taken when they demolished that stadium. And it'll be a crying shame if they don't deal with that immediately, because obviously the FNM government didn't see that was not a priority item for them, because they went there for 5 years and did absolutely nothing. And now the PLP, we're hoping that they will deliver as promised to make sure that this facility is up and running as quickly as possible.
So the interest is still there in baseball, but we've got this other issue that we need to deal with. What happens now? I mean, I know we're at this stalemate, the impasse there, but is there nothing, can't you make an appeal to the IBF, or is that? The IBF knows everything that's going on, and that is why the IBF gave the BOC the letter that they gave him, because trust me, they were privy to this 2 decades or more ago. They knew what was happening. They knew the BBA was not doing anything. They knew that we had vibrant programs in the Bahamas. Well, why don't we just change and recognize the BBF now as the official body?
The international bodies, that's like Mr. Saab said earlier, that's not something that they would undertake. But they gave those who have power the authority to make a decision.
To facilitate it.
Yeah.
You know, and the BOC can facilitate that. You see, it's very easy for the BOC to tell the BBA their member body, one of their member bodies, look, you have to come to the table and you have to conduct yourself democratically. One of the sore points among federations in the country today is that there are certain constitutions that give the executive levels one vote each, and the teams themselves, the clubs, just have one vote. That seems to be, there's no balance there. For an executive to have a single vote, which means the executives can continue to vote themselves back into power. We saw that manifested to a certain degree in a previous situation when the BOC had some executives around for some 30 years. Interestingly enough, that particular area was one of the points that the current executives really hit home with to the public, and it resonated with the public, and they had tremendous support to move the previous executive out of power. And in 2008, the IOC, the Pan American Sports Organization, just like the IBF is doing today, saw that the BOC had reached a level where they needed to do what they could do to regulate it. We have a new group of officers in, and one of the first things that they gave the impression they wanted to do was to change the Constitution so that there would be more balance in the voting. And I understand that hasn't been changed yet. And again, just like I said earlier in the program, there are some executives within the BOC who want to do things the right way. They want to regulate the situation where the members have the power to determine who are the heads of the BOC.
How does this look on us on the international?
It doesn't look good.
You know, it appears that we can't handle our internal affairs. We're missing out. What's going on with the Bahamas?
Well, people laugh at us because let me tell you, the way our technology is today and the way how the contact level, the world is a global village now.
Yes.
For instance, I have colleagues emailing me and telling me what's happening in Jamaica, what's happening in Russia, what's happening in Germany, what's happening in London, all the time. I mean, you know what's going on.
Of course.
So people know now that we just came out of a situation, a tremendous infighting that was the knowledge of the world, because we were the laughingstock of because of the BOC prior to 2008. And a lot of people know that certain things that were supposed to change did not change. And they are wondering whether the people who are in place now, they say, boy, now we can stay in power for 30 years, so we don't get to change that constitution. So if there is a situation whereby that constitution is not changed, then how is the BOC going to tell the BBA, look, you got to change your constitution to give more balance? So you see the conundrum there, you know, and it's a situation where I keep going back to the ministry, although it has no authority to get involved with the day-to-day organization and operation of the federations or the affiliated members, because they're giving money, they can insist that this money coming out of the pocket of the taxpayers. At least prove that you're operating in the best interest of the national sports program. And I think if they start doing that and they become more serious about that, then you'd find these executives, they got to stop back and start saying, well, you know, we got to...
Have you guys appealed to the director?
Well, the thing it is, the director of sports knows what his portfolio includes. I think we've just reached a point now where the director of sports, who is the arm that the minister and the PS expect to provide information, he knows now, he should know, that he has to be more diligent in examining the full sporting terrain. You know, he has to do that, and hopefully he will start doing that.
Excellent.
Got another call before we break. Good morning, caller. This is Morning Blend.